as true with airplanes that fly through the area not very frequently. There's no requirement that they do that, although common sense says, and the maps do show what those frequencies are. Sir?
Mr. Mayor, is there any indication that that plane was flying too low, or why it would be flying so low?
We don't know what altitude. It's the corridor probably is 1,000 feet or below, and obviously, for example, helicopters can go all the way down right to the water because they have to land on the pier. So there's a maximum altitude restriction, and minimums tend to be just staying away from the sides from buildings, but nobody really focuses on that. The reason for the maximum altitude is you want to make sure that these airplanes stay away from commercial aircraft, which fly higher than that and would never be cleared lower than this. Typically, a commercial airplane going into LaGuardia, going up the river, would be cleared to go at 5,000 feet, 1,000 feet being the maximum for these. Yeah, yes, Miss.
Mayor, can you describe in a little more detail about how the bodies were recovered, so the bodies that have been recovered? How was that?
I cannot do that. One was, we believe, floating free, and they found the other one the divers have recovered. But as you might imagine, the divers are more worried about doing their job and making sure that each other is safe rather than giving us a blow-by-blow. There are some bodies in the wreckage that we found in the aircraft, whether that's an airplane or a helicopter. We believe it's the helicopter, but we're not 100% sure. But they're studying now how to get them out safely, and eventually the wreckage will be picked up. First thing we're trying to do is to get the bodies out, obviously, with the sensibilities of the families, and our prayers have to go out to them. It's a tragedy, and other than Flight 587, this is, as far as I know, the largest accident resulting in death in the New York area in modern day. Yes, Miss? There's no indication that anybody had any problems whatsoever. One of the pilots on the sitting on the deck at the West 30th Street said he saw the airplane and he grabbed his microphone and tried to tell the pilot of the helicopter that got hit, but whether the pilot ever heard it, whether he was on the right frequency, it could have just been an optical illusion that he was close to. In this case, it turned out it was not an optical illusion. It is a crowded, busy area, and generally pilots that fly in this area are well trained, and they certainly have plenty of practice flying in that. It's when the roads are crowded and you're going fast, you really want to pay attention, and pilots here typically do. What exactly happened? Not going to speculate, and until the NTSB issues their report, you're not going to know. Yes, sir.
How big is the debris field? And what
It's all it's underwater. They can see 2 or 3 feet maximum. They can't tell anything.
Like debris field, they can search it. About
we have no idea where both went down exactly, or where the current might have taken them. We have found one piece of wreckage. Whether they've looked 2 or 3 feet in either direction from that, I don't know. This is a dangerous area when the currents are running. It's 30 feet under the water, and the visibility is terrible. And their first instructions are, do not compound this tragedy. Recovery is certainly not worth jeopardizing people's lives. Rescue maybe, but not recovery, sir. The helicopter had taken off from West 30th Street Heliport, went directly perpendicular out over the river, which is their practice, to make sure they see any traffic going north or south on the river. That's confirmed by the other pilot from that was sitting on the heliport on 30th Street. He says the plane was coming from a little bit from the northwest, which would be from the Teterboro Airport area, where we do know that this plane had taken off from, and so that's consistent. Whether that plane was in the process of banking and turning south to go down towards the Statue of Liberty, we just don't know. They would not be allowed, and probably would have known from the maps, that they could not go over Manhattan, but there is this corridor down over the river. So, yes.
Let's take one more question.
plane going south, essentially, and helicopters going towards New Jersey.
The helicopter had already turned going south when the plane came, but it first came out, then it turned south, and it was climbing, and probably between 500 and 1,000 feet. They'll try to establish that later on. We'll take the last question, or we'll take 2.